I've always loved using Notion, and this setup has completely transformed how I manage my goals, track my habits, and stay on top of everything. It's my go-to tool for staying organised. It's the first thing I open when I sit at my desk. Whether you want to improve your daily routines, stay focused, or simply keep your life in order, this Notion template has got you covered. So stick around and I'll show you how you can organise your life one step at a time. If you're new here, my name's Tom and I'm an engineering student on self-improvement while sharing everything I learned along the way with you guys. So let's get into it. I've been using Notion for a fair few years now, purely because it's one of the best apps to organise loads of different things all in one place. My setup here, I've called the Life Hub because this is basically where I organise every single part of my life, from personal to work and university, and also going through my YouTube stuff as well. First thing you might be thinking is, why does it look so gorgeous? Well, the good thing about Notion is you can actually import loads of different things to make it personalised to yourself. So obviously an icon and a banner can always add a personal touch to your workspace, but I found widgets really take it to the next level. The main websites I use are Widgetbox and Indify. Both of these sites have a load of options that you can add to personalize your workspace. This could include clocks, countdowns, calendars, even the weather, as well as loads of different options to customize the individual widgets, from color to style, whatever really takes your fancy. This entire template I've linked down below in the description for free that you can download, and you can adjust to whatever you see fit for your own personal needs. So in terms of the personal side for my Life Hub, I've divided it into 6 different sections, all for a dedicated part of my life to organize. First page I have is for my goals. Now this is the first one, as it's probably the most important I have in the whole Notion setup. From here you can add in what you want to achieve for your long-term goal. But I've also added in other tools here to actually keep track of your progress to make sure that you're on track to achieving your goals. One good thing is added in monthly milestones, so you can track from month to month, so you know what you need to achieve each month to get to your end goal, and then you can adjust accordingly for your next month. The other thing that I found really helpful with staying on track with goals was actually reflecting weekly or monthly to make sure that what you're doing is working, basically. Weekly reflection is great because you can review what you've done in a week, what went well, what you could actually improve on, and plan ahead for the next week so you know what tasks you need to do to make progress, but also thinking about potential obstacles which could come in the way of achieving these goals. Similarly, with a month reflection, this is just a good time to reflect on the month that you've had to see if you're making the progress that you want to be and what you can do to improve this. And this is the best way that I found to actually keep track of my goals and the progress that I'm making towards them. The next page I've got in my Life Hub is my habit tracker. Now, this has been great to actually keep track of, surprisingly, every habit that I want to get done during my time. Now this, as you might have guessed, allows me to track any habits that I may want to improve on. So as an example, the habits I put in here are meditating, reading, watering my plants, and stretching. Now, if you want to add in a new habit, you can come over to the Habits tab. You then come down and then press the plus. And then if you go over to Reminder, this creates a new checkable habit which you can add into your tracker. So now when you come over to this, at the moment it says Reminder, so you can replace this for whatever habit you may want to track. So say if you wanted to improve going to the gym, you can do that, make a pretty little icon, add that in there as well. And then this has now been added to your habit tracker. So when you go back to the Today tab, at the moment it hasn't shown up. Once again, Notion just hides some of these properties sometimes. So you can always go into the 3 dots, go into the properties, and then you can hide and unhide anything that you want to add into your tracker in this view. And there you go, that's how I keep track of all my habits. The other great thing with my habit tracker template is that this also works really well with the widgets you can put on your phone. So when you add these to your home screen, you can quickly access them. So when you complete a habit, you can tick it off to make sure that you're keeping track of everything. Now the next page I have is my gratitude journal. Now this is technically one of my habits, but I thought it was so important that I actually put it into a completely different page to keep track of them all. But also this means that again, I can add it into a different widget on my home screen. So I can access this in the morning and do my gratitude journaling. So this page is nice and easy. I've got a button, I've programmed a button that you can then just press and it loads straight up into the journal entry. And this is then set to today's date. So you can see what days you've actually done your journaling on. And you can see this in different views. So at the moment I've got it set as a table, but you can also have a look in the calendar and then you can see every day that you've done your journaling. I also included my old journal in this. Before I was Notion savvy, it was as easy as just putting the date and then writing out. Obviously that's a bit clunky, but if you like that form, then I've left it in there as well. Now the next page I've got in my Notion setup is actually my knowledge page, and this is basically Anything that I learn, read, watch, whatever it may be, I put it in here so I can actually remember the information and I haven't just forgotten about it instantly. So in this setup, you can add a new page, add in whatever it may be. So say you've just read a new book, and then you can open that page and you can pick a template for whatever it may be that you've done. So these templates are all very similar and they each have their own pretty little icon just to make it look nicer. So I can select the book icon, and then what this then does is then loads the template, so then I can write down any notes from that book, but also most importantly get the key points and actionable steps that I can use from that, and actionable steps from that book, so then I can actually implement these things into my life. You can then add in other details, so the author, links to whatever video or article you might have read, a quick overview of whatever it was, so you can then start to categorize the things that you're learning. And you can also add other things like the date. And then I've also got a little checkbox, so then once I've actually implemented the things that I've read about or watched about, whatever it may be, I can then tick this, so then I know that I've achieved them. Now this quotes page is what is linked to the quote of the day which I've had on my homepage, and also I put in my gratitude journal as well, so that I can see when I first open my phone a nice quote to start the day. Now with this page, it's nice and easy to just add in whatever quote you may want. You can add in the author, and then that's all you need to do. One of the limitations of Notion is that there isn't a way built in to randomize a selection of things in a database. But luckily enough, there's enough smart people out there that have learned how to actually do this. So I set up this randomizer from a YouTuber called Matthias Frank, who knows a lot more about Notion than I do. So that's what is set up in this randomizer page at the bottom here, but you don't have to worry about that. Every time you add in a new quote, it'll be working in the background, so that when you go back to your homepage, or if you've got it linked to the gratitude journal as well. Now the final page I have on the personal side of my setup is basically just a collection of widgets that I've got from these different websites to have a look at my life progress. Now you can add in some really funky things, like the big colourful rainbow looking thing is one of those life trackers where each square represents a week of your life. So it's quite cool to visualize how much time you've used and how much time you've got left, so that you make the most of it. I've also got a load of random things about the progression through the year, and also how old I am, and also some countdowns like my birthday and graduation, which is always nice to keep track of. And there you go, that covers all the templates that I've got in my Life Hub to keep track of all the personal things in my life. And in my next video, I'm going to be covering the sections on my work and university and how I organise assignments, revision, and all those things like that. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you found this information useful and would want more personalised support, as well as a load more resources on how to organise your life, then check out the link in the description below to find out more about my private community and coaching. And as always, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.